ready for the audit presentation.
Good evening, Mayor Broome, City Council, City Manager Dr. Adediran. Good evening, my name is David Moore. I'm the audit supervisor from Banks Family White and Company. We're serving as the current external auditor for the City of College Park's 2024 audit. I'm here on behalf of our partner who unfortunately had another prior engagement and was unable to move some scheduling items around, but I'm here on his behalf to read the formal letter that was sent to Mayor and Council. And then at the conclusion of the reading of the letter, any questions for me?
So, Mr. Moore, your plan is to read the letter we received today?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear City Manager Adediran, Mayor Broome, and City Council members, as the engagement partner responsible for the City of College Park's fiscal year 2024 audit, as the engagement partner responsible for this audit, I am writing to provide a current status update. This correspondence follows our previous updates and reflects the current state of the engagement as of today. At Banks Family White and Company, we remain committed to completing a thorough and accurate audit that supports the city's mission of fiscal responsibility and transparency. However, at this stage, we are still waiting several critical documents and reconciliations that are essential for the audit completion. While we acknowledge the Finance Department's continued efforts, the volume and significance of these items require additional coordination and prioritization based on the current pace and outstanding information. We now anticipate completing the audit by May 31st, 2025, provided that all outstanding items are submitted in a timely manner. In the letter to you, Mayor and Council, there's a listing of the outstanding items that are needed to complete the audit. I don't want to waste your time and the council's time for reading all of those itemized items out. I will skip over to the next section of the letter. In addition to the outstanding documentation, we are actively working with the Finance Department to resolve some preliminary findings, which currently include, again, we are still in the process of auditing the city. These are not final audit findings, but these are preliminary what we have come to at this time. Executive level turnover during the fiscal year, staffing shortages and training gaps, segregation of duties issues, and inconsistencies with internal policy adherence. A more comprehensive listing of audit findings will be included in our final report and presented to City Council upon conclusion of the audit. As previously presented, our firm has extensive experience with major governments across the country. We have earned a strong professional reputation nationwide for quality and reliability in the public sector auditing. Our staff are thoroughly trained in the specific requirements of generally accepted auditing standards, including audit objectives, procedures, and reporting standards. Moreover, our team possesses deep expertise in governmental accounting standard boards' pronouncements and their practical application to local government, such as the City of College Park. I would like to take this opportunity to express that BFW is more than a vendor to the city. We are proud to have served the citizens of College Park for over 52 years as a minority-owned certified public accounting firm. We have maintained physical presence in the College Park community since 1984. We support and patronize local businesses, city events, giving back to the community that has supported us for decades. We cherish this opportunity to serve as your external auditor, and we view this engagement as a demonstration of the city's commitment to transparency, quality, and integrity in trusting one of your own to audit your books and records. We appreciate the trust placed in our firm and look forward to continue this important work together. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions, updates, or requests for the support addressing in the remaining items, again, respectively from the resident partner. And at this time, I am the manager who is overseeing the engagement. So if there's any questions that you would like to address to me, I am here to do so. Thank you, and I yield my time back.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Mayor Pro
ma'am.
Tem?
Yes, good evening, and thank
Yes,
you for
ma'am.
coming, and thank you for what you're doing here at the City of College Park. Can you give me an example? In the letter that you sent us, you mentioned
Yes, ma'am.
inconsistencies with internal policy adherence. Can you kind of give us an example of what you're finding, or what the
So,
situation
sure.
is?
So since there's been, as we all know, there's been significant transition and turnover in this department. In the policies and procedures that have been provided to us, there's certain, I would say, steps, protocols, procedures that need to happen. And based on what we've been working through currently, there's no evidence of that has been happening. For instance, there is not a soft close process that's being followed as indicated in the policy and procedure. Your new finance director is, again, trying to help us locate certain analysis and reconciliations that should have been identified and provided. So to the nature of why they haven't been provided, I would have to defer to your current finance director to give further explanation. So that's an example of certain things that we were expecting to see completed that should have been readily available. And since his onboarding, he is still trying to help us find or locate it. So as soon as information is being provided, we're trying our best to turn around and review and provide any follow-up or inquiry to management.
So basically, are you saying that some of these things that we're discussing were available to in the last audit, that you're not saying that you're being given? Or, I mean, was this the case? I know you've seen our
I don't know what the process or protocol was prior to Banks Finley coming on board. So to give you a clear answer on that, I would have to defer to Mr. Jackson and maybe come to the podium to see what he has discovered since being in the role.
Mr. Jackson, would you help us, please? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And I'm sorry, can you restate your question, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I want to go back to the letter, get my words right. One of the things that I found troubling when I received the letter today, or this weekend, whenever we got it, was inconsistencies with internal policy adherence. And I wanted to kind of get an example of what that might look like or sound like, or what's happening there. Are we not? Do you not have the information that you require in order to, so just let me know. I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
So right now, as I observe it, the city is lacking standard operating procedures for various tasks. So for example, creating certain or specific reconciliations procedures for those tasks do not exist. And so currently I am seeing scenarios where, for example, the auditor is asking for certain information that the city just does not have or has not done in the past.
Okay.
And I believe that in part that this is due to, one, this is a new auditor to the city. And so, there are some things that I believe that the city at some point will need to adapt and sign on to in order to be in compliance with GASB reporting moving forward. But that's where we are right now.
Okay, so it sounds like some of this are things that we just have not done in the past.
Correct.
And with this new firm, for them to do a transparent, really coherent audit, that they are requiring us to come up to a standard that the city has not operated under in the past.
Correct.
Okay.
And with this audit, we're going to be looking for assistance from them to, give us some guidelines on what they'd like to see from the city moving forward, to give us like a basis of, what we need to do as a city as far as like performing like certain reconciliations and periodic reporting.
Which will help us in the long run.
Yes.
So basically what we're doing is we want to be better than we were before.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Arnold?
Okay, so I'm glad to hear that about the segregation, or, well, not glad, but understanding that that is an area where we can improve. I noticed also in the letter that there was something that with segregation of duties, which is always a concern, but can you give us a little more information on that one as well?
Speak. So as part of the process of having sound standard operational procedures and sound accounting policies, procedure manual in place, in that you would have identified how to segregate the duties, right? So that no one person is either handling more than what they should be doing or handling too much or not enough, right? So that if one day whomever is sitting whatever that role is and they decide that today's my last day, well, with them leaving, there shouldn't be a true vacuum effect, as we call it, where all that historical institutional knowledge is gone. The policy and the procedure is in place so that whomever is brought in to replace them, right, or to fill that gap, there's a policy and a procedure that they can go to say, this is how in which you need to complete this task. This is how we're going to be able to still be able to complete the process so that we can close the books out for a monthly, quarter, or year-end close process. So that's kind of where that segregation of duties comes from. It's not just that, hey, you're worried about this one person doing too much. It's also to identify who should be doing what and when and the how.
And can you say where you may have seen more of this? Where there are certain areas where you saw more, where we weren't, or where the segregation of duties were less effective than others?
So if for example, the finance director is gone, so whatever process or policies or procedures that she was following, or should be following, the evidence of that information has not been readily available. So that's an example of segregation of duties and making sure that whatever he or she is responsible for doing is documented the way it's supposed to, it's been reviewed where it's supposed to, is in a centralized location where it's supposed to, so that the level of segregation is evident in the process. So that now that it shouldn't matter if Mr. Jackson comes on board or if Banks Finley White has been brought on as the new external auditor, that whatever needs to be provided is readily available. So again, segregation of duties is a peel the onion approach, in my opinion, as to, again, not just the task, but everything that task is associated with that task. Does that make sense, or am I?
It does, but it also sounds like that there may be a gap with succession planning,
Yes.
right? More so than the segregation of duties. It
It's a
sounds
combination
like,
of
right,
all, right?
Like we have no bench strength is what I'm hearing from you.
I would defer to.
Well, I would label it as a single point of failure.
I got that too.
So, for example, you have only one person that knows how to pay city bills. If that person leaves, then we have an issue. There's a failure there. We're not able to pay our bills.
Gotcha.
And so we have more of those type of situations. For example, the accounting manager that we have currently, she is doing a lot. She is involved in a lot. And so if she were to leave, that would be an example of a single point of failure.
Councilman Burgett?
Oh, a couple of things. We receive some type of recognition that each fiscal year our accounting was sound, and we got this award. I mean, since I've worked up here. So my question is, how are we able to be recognized as fiscally sound when those standard operating procedures, as you say, may not have existed?
So I believe, Councilman Gay, I think you're referring to the certificate of excellence from the I can't remember the acronym right now. So as long as your audit, your ACFR is done in accordance with those standards and you have met all the required reporting, documentation, presentation, making sure that you're in accordance and adhering to the GASB standards, you still will get the certificate of excellence because your reporting is in accordance to what the standards say. It doesn't necessarily they don't come in and do a type of audit that we do. Their audit is more their review is more in line with, are you doing proper financial reporting in accordance with the accounting standards as it relates to governmental entities? So that's the difference. Your external audit is where you'll come out with, these preliminary findings that we're bringing to your attention. That's more of a self-reporting. It's just part of certificate of excellence that all governments like to have because it's part of your self-reporting requirement. So that's why in that you will still get it as long as you meet all the reporting requirements that are required.
So, since we don't have some of the things that you feel that should be in place, I mean, how reasonable are y'all gonna be to let's get our audit completed? Because it sounds like you're not gonna get some things; they don't exist.
Well, that's where I was going to end my spiel, if you will, on my time, is that we're here to be a partner. So whatever roadblocks or problems that we are discovering at this time, we're here to help work with the city to come up with some type of resolution to make it better so that when the next audit cycle happens, there's another check that's been put into play to make sure that regardless who is sitting in chair on either side, that the city's work is still being completed. So right now, we're working with Mr. Jackson and his team, trying to come to some middle ground of resolution so that whatever support documentation that has been provided, one is providing is accurate. Two, we're given the opportunity to really vet it and test it to make sure that whatever is in those reports it's valid and it is in sound accordance with the standards. So that's how we're trying to resolve some of those issues where there isn't a reconciliation or the document hasn't been provided, where we're trying to give Mr. Jackson and his team either examples of or points of clarification on what should be provided so that they can turn around and complete the analysis so that we can come back and audit it.
Thank you. Is Councilman Coleman?
I was going to go to him next. Councilmember Carn?
I had a couple of questions. First thing, Mayor, I would expect the standard order of discussion with regards to agenda items continue with this meeting. If I have to make that in a motion, so be it. But I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be that standard, but that's what I expect. Unless you have an objection to it, then we can call for a vote on it.
Sir, I'm sorry. What are you trying to say? I'm not clear on what you're saying.
City manager, city attorney, is my audio coming in clearly?
Sir, your audio is coming in clear. I'm not sure I understood what you meant. Could you restate it?
Mayor, the standard order of discussion is 1, 2, 3, and 4, as always. There's no reason why that should change unless, do I need to make a motion for that to continue?
Sir, I would just, in honoring the
I would like to be recognized in the standard order of discussion.
You asked the question,
as with
and
the
so I
agenda.
was responding. And so I would appreciate it if you didn't cut me off. I was just handling the people in the room. If that's a huge problem for you, we can absolutely go to you next. But please, go
Mayor,
ahead with your
that wouldn't
questioning.
put me next. I would have been second, actually.
I understand, sir.
And I want to make sure that that's the standard going forward here.
Sir,
Is that all right?
Please go ahead and ask your questions.
I did not get an answer to my question. Is the standard order okay with discussion items going forward?
Sir, we will go in the order as 1, 2, 3, 4 moving forward. Please ask your questions on this matter.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. A couple of things I did have, and thank you for coming for the discussion here. I had inquired several times with the past city manager, Stanley Hawthorne, about my concerns with the reconciliation process and a couple of processes up there that were going on. So I wanted to state for the record, number one, that these issues predate our current city manager, Dr. Audit, number one. Number two, I want to state for the record and for the public that all of these issues additionally predate our new finance director, Mr. Jackson. This is precisely one of the reasons why I insisted that we look at another auditing firm. It was for this very same reason, 16 years of service with the same outfit, and everything was pretty much hunky-dory when I suspected we did have issues and serious issues that were occurring that I was concerned about. These issues around redundancy were another concern I brought up with the former city manager, that we had none up there. So it's important that we're looking at this and that we're addressing this now that we're able to. So I'm looking forward to reading the full report, and we want to make sure we get you every document that we have in our possession. So thank you so much.
Sir, I have some questions.
Yes,
in-
Madam Mayor.
In November, we received a letter from your firm that the agreed upon deadline for completion was December 31st, and you anticipated, because there were there were open items, that we would not receive the audit until mid-February.
So to respond to that, Madam Mayor, since that time, it was then discovered some of the issues that are laid out in the new letter that we received that are still being worked on or trying to discover where it is, if it exists. So I can't audit what I don't have. And so whatever has been provided to us, we have already started to review and provide follow-up questions. So again, that was the intent, that once we came, it was agreed upon by the previous interim finance director that stated, hey, we will have all of these items by this date, and that didn't happen. And so it was then asked that, hey, we're getting a new finance director in, let him get his settling in, and let's pick up where that person left off at. And so here we are now. I'm trying to work as best we can with Mr. Jackson to now move this audit further along than what it had been. So, that's just where we are. We have weekly status meetings and all of that. So it's just a matter of trying to either find where it exists, or we're giving them guides on how to present it so that we can then audit it. And again, that takes time. So it's not, here you go. They have to go back and do the due diligence and review what has been already in the system, and then turn it back around to us so that we can then go back and validate it. So it takes time. It's not give it to me today and then tomorrow my team and I, and say, hey, that's not how that works. We have to allow time for his team to pull the support, the journal entries, whatever support that is associated with it. And then there's that conversation of back and forth, right? So it just takes time. And so I don't know how else to put it, but that whatever's been provided, we've either already looked at it, reviewed it, provided inquiry, waiting for follow-up, and then Mr. Jackson and the accounting manager are now trying to help them so that we can get the audit done.
Understood. My concern is that the last correspondence we received from you said mid-February. So why is it 6 weeks later that we're hearing from you again? Why didn't we hear from you in mid-February about some of these concerns? My concern is that we get to May 31st, and then we hear something the first week of June that you still need additional information. And this has to be done. We have issues that will hold up state funding if this does not get done. So how can we, as a body, ensure that we are receiving prompt and timely information from you to ensure that this stays on track and finishes up on May 31st?
Well, now that the transition of whomever is sitting in this role as finance director has been settled, the goal is to now to have more accurate and timely conversation with whomever is running the department. So we are now meeting more than once a week. I meet with Mr. Jackson probably every other day prior to a formal status meeting where the city manager, the county manager, and the finance director is there along with my team, so that we can then have in those discussions, giving him and his team the time that needs to be given to them to try to help resolve whatever inquiry or roadblock that we're assisting. So now that this role is now stable, then there will be more, I would say, up-to-date communication with you all as those charged with governance.
So when can we expect our next communication in regard to this?
We will probably, I will need to defer and work with the new finance director and city manager once we've taken an inventory of what the new latest round of outstanding items are. And as soon as we have that, we will turn that around as soon as we can. And right now, I can't give you a definitive date, right? So I would say like we would need to have another round of status meetings. And at the end of the next status meeting, then we can collectively as a group determine what needs to be communicated to you as those charged with governance.
Or have those status meetings been set at this time?
Yes, they
When
have
is the
been
next
set.
status meeting?
We have our weekly status meetings on Wednesdays at 3:00.
So we should anticipate some level of communication after the next status meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor?
And Mr. Jackson, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You expressed some concerns in regard to how the audit was going. Are you feeling comfortable at this point?
Feeling frustrated at this point simply because like the sense of urgency to move this audit along has been an issue for me. One of the things going back to the single point of failure, for example, the accounting manager, she was carrying the heavy load for the audit for some time, while also doing the check runs and accounts payable process each week. And so we've tried to levy those responsibilities and get me more involved. I've been very hands-on at this point, even working this past Saturday to get some documents over to the auditor. So it's something that I'm taking very, very seriously to move us along and to get us an audit report sooner than later.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Mayor? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I definitely feel your pain because I myself had been trying to get a simple financial report since last year. And it wasn't until Mr. Jackson was here and settled in that I finally got that last week. So I do know that it has been very, very troublesome over the last year to get reporting and the information. And I am very glad that we are moving up to a standard that we may not be accustomed to, but it's going to make us better as a city. My question is, the certificate of excellence, if we are late with the audit, can you still get a certificate of excellence? I've got a couple of questions now.
We over the time limit.
I know. Well, no, we said we were gonna,
No, we passed it.
we said more than 12 minutes for this.
We said 20.
20? Oh, okay.
passed
All right.
that.
Well, can we just finish this question?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
So again, it will require a little bit of research to confirm that. But again, as long as you guys submit the required documentation for the certificate of excellence, that should not stop the city from getting the award. And if you recall, I think it was mentioned previously, last year's audit didn't finish till January of 2024, and I think the year before that it was even later than that one. And I believe in Mr. Jackson's office, the symbol was there for those years that the audit was late. So again, it's more about making sure that the reporting requirements are in accordance with the GASB standards. The main concern I think as far as the timing of that is not so much the issue, is more making sure the reporting is in accordance with what the governmental standards require that the ACFR be in accordance with. I hope that kind of answers
Yeah,
your
yeah,
question.
and just to add on, I'm glad you said that because I was going to state the fact that our audit had been late for the past 2 years, even before I was on this council. And the only reason that we may be in danger of losing state funding at this time is not because this audit may be late, but it's because we had an audit late 2 years prior. So you don't lose state funding over one late audit. You have to have a couple of years of late audits, and then you don't qualify. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Mayor Pro Tem, that's actually incorrect in that because we do not have an audit submitted right now, we cannot receive our state funding. If we submit it, we can get it. But the late audits don't have an impact. It is the fact that we don't have a FY24 audit submitted to the state that we can't get funding right now.
So Mayor, are you saying that when we submitted the 2022 audit in 2024, of January of 2024, that we received state funding that year?
Yes, ma'am.
So then why could we not, if we are not late, if we are not yet late, it's not January of 2026, and if we get this in this year, how would that impede upon our state funding?
Right now, we are ineligible to receive state funding because we have not turned in our audit for FY24.
So how did we receive state funding from the 2022 audit? I'm hearing that the audit did not make it in, not the 2023, the audit, an audit that was for year 2022 did not make it in until 2024.
That's incorrect.
Can you clear, you said what was late, what, was it 2023 that didn't make it until?
Based on the ACFR that is published, the auditor's opinion was dated January of 2024 for FY 2023s, but I don't recall the date of the auditor's opinion for 2022s, but I do know it was beyond the time frame.
Okay, so the audit that we're working on right now is
It's
our
the FY 2024.
2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But we have been late for 2 straight years before now.
Based on what's in the ACFR, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in January. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item